Hello and welcome back to another unit of Tibee breeding. I'm sorry that I'm not able to put on every week a new unit because it takes a lot of time to prepare them. Maybe it's worth to wait for them, I hope. In this clip I want to introduce you to the second level of Tibee breeding, what I have displayed as a chart. And before we will jump quickly into a topic, I want to mention that I have taken the liberty of assigning my own names for some facts, which I will continue to use in the following. For a reason that there is so many confusion with names and what is a Tibee, what isn't a Tibee, how to distinguish Tibees, I choose to give the Tibees we discuss here the name Tibee logemanni. Okay, let's jump to our chart now. What have we done so far? We have described the source of parent animals and their genetic limits of the phenotypes, and we examined the first offspring generation and pointed out difficulties in reproduction which also become apparent in the further early stage of the project. That's why I call the next stage of hybridization level 2. It's not sure if the first exceptional specimen appeared already in F2 or only in F3. As soon as the population had reached a good number, what in fact was around 2009-2010, I started to select different types that caught my attention. I've divided them into different sections according to their conspicuousness, which are shown here as colored segments of a circle. These three here will play the main role in future, which is why they are highlighted once again. Overall, however, 97 to 98% of the population consists of so-called intermediaries. We jump to another little better pic. The proportions of the pic and segments are not true. They just mean something is picked out from a much bigger thing. For better description, the sections have been given letters, and the intermediate phenotypes are named here with a C, and now we talk about the intermediates. The offspring of the second level starts to split up in a wide range, and those who doesn't fit in any of the other sections gathered here in the section of the intermediaries. It's not easy to describe the pool of the intermediaries, but what is true for now and especially for the future is that the appearance of the Tibee, as far as patterning is concerned, is characterized by three relatively independent body areas, as it is the head, the back area above the drawn vertical line, and the abdominal area below. This is not very visible in this stage, but will play a role in further stages. The phenotype of one shrimp is an individual arrangement of these parts. An arrangement of stripes, white parts, body color, and transparencies. Another visible feature in the interplay is the body color, which can range from shades of blue to brown to orange, and even transparency. I tried to find some original pictures out of a time back then, 10 years back, and I found some. I'm a bit sorry about the poor quality, but I have to work with what is available. This is what it can look like in reality. It's to notice that the tiger stripes are dominant to the bands and the body color is dominant over the basic color, what means the white parts. Some look more like pure tiger, and some have more transparencies and less stripes and less white. This one have a greenish, bluish body color and an orange tail, and some have more white parts on the back. But always the tiger stripes are very dominant. This one has more thicker stripes and a full headband, and this one has more white parts and already white parts on the head. Same with this interesting orange tail, and this one looks more like a wild bee with a slightly nice orange touch. Entirely we can say each looks different. So for now, that's all what I want to say about intermediate phenotypes for now. Let's take a closer look to the more special sections. When I did the presentation for Poland's aquatic event, basically the D section was considered as a kind of open class, which means all phenotypes contained here that I didn't catch in the other sections but would maybe worth to separate. I won't claim my sections would be complete all in all. It's mostly possible that I've missed other interesting phenotypes. Meanwhile, I would like to fill this section with phenotypes that are conspicuous by a change in their exoskeleton. We all probably have heard of short carapaces, for example. This pic, taken by Chris Lukop in 2013, shows a shrimp with a so-called open skirt, and it got printed in the Readers and Keepers magazine Volume 1. Maybe this was the very first time such a shrimp was shown in public. I remember Chris and me had a chat about that we both recognized this issue the very first time. Today I'm convinced that changes in the exoskeleton of shrimps isn't just an issue because of inbreeding in a narrow sense. I believe readers not only can read different colors and pattern, but can shape the body also. Please think here to what humans bred as puggles or short-legged dachshunds from wolves. But of course, it's a big difference if this happens consciously or unconsciously. I noticed something like that several times, but usually I sorted them out immediately. With the next pics I want to show you some of those. They are not belonging to the level 2, more they are level 3 or higher, but I just want to show where I'm talking about. I admit these changings in the exoskeleton are really difficult to see sometimes, especially when it comes to the complex anatomy of the head area. The opposite of a bad-shaped open skirt is the balloon head. This means the head is too big. When I published this one with a balloon head and a very bad exoskeleton shape at my Facebook page, it got a huge amount of likes. It's a big danger if you wouldn't evolve this and if reader just look for color and pattern. This kind of issues can be related to any parts of a shrimp, especially with hybrids, as they are able to do a lot of kind of different mutations. And this would be strengthened and manifest with every generation of inbreeding. So it is, and the responsibility is up to any single breeder. Let's move to the next section with the letter E. The section E marks the beginning of my own safari line. I tried to get 4 white shrimps with typically tiger pattern and started to select those with more white parts out of the pool of intermediaries. The following pictures shall give you an idea about the whole way. I started with the level 2 shrimps, but I continue this until today. This kind of phenotypes got a lot of different names, started as white tiger and nowadays more known as fancy tigers. As far I can think back, I probably was one of the first in the world who was busy with this kind of appearance seriously. And so they get public attention also, and Chris Lukhorp took a lot of pictures of them and displayed them on their posters. And even as far as I know, one of my shrimps was the first fancy tiger that was awarded in a public competition. This is the original one. I continued with this, and in the later years I splitted my safari lines in several distinct lines, and my most beloved line is until today the Dancing Man line, because the Caridina mariae only gives the pattern that is responsible for the nice and wonderful head pattern. As already mentioned, I continue with this until today, and I really love to develop this pattern. It really gives me a great pleasure to discover new variations of human representations on the head of the shrimps. Sometimes it's so funny. Some could look like women also, or like E.T., or some have a hat on their head and cowboy boots on the feet, and they always standing on a tight ground. I insist that a dancing man is not float around, but firmly stand on the ground with both feet. However, now the time for this clip is long over, and we will deal with the main sections of special phenotypes in detail next time. As you can see here, it's still a lot to tell. I always be happy about any comments and feedback, so don't be shy. Until next time.